Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
Covering both sides of the big issues with the analysis you trust on Newsradio 1040 WHO.
This is the Simon Conway Show. It is also the beginning of the Rust trial. Now, this is not the one involving Mr. Baldwin. The case is involving actor Alec Baldwin, but this case is involving the armorer. If you remember, a lady unfortunately died when Alec Baldwin pointed a gun at her and pulled the trigger. No one is suggesting he wanted to kill her, by the way, but he took a gun from the armorer. And joining us to talk about this is trial attorney Jeremy Rosenthal, if I can just get the mouse to work. There we go. Hi, Jeremy. You're on the Simon Conway Show. So we're getting this trial underway.
Yes, we are. Today was jury selection, and so the trial's going to take. Supposed to be about 2 weeks, and we're going to get a really good sneak preview here of what to expect with the Alec Baldwin trial itself.
Right. I mean, from his perspective, I guess you could say this is a pretty important case because, you know, I'm taking a giant leap, but if she is found guilty, that's a pretty good defense for him, isn't it?
Actually, it's a really good point. I think either way that happens is probably a pretty big tell for him either way. Yes, if she is convicted, then he can sort of point to her. But if she is acquitted, the case against her is stronger than it is against him. And if they can't even convict her, I think that he's got to feel pretty good about this. It's going to get a really good sneak peek at how all the witnesses are going to testify, about what the evidence is going to be. So he's definitely going to go to school on this.
Somebody who, you know, has firearms, has used firearms, that's a real firearm we're talking about. Obviously, it killed somebody. Mm-hmm. This is a real firearm. So there's two golden rules about real firearms. Golden rule number one, you never point it at a human being. And golden rule number two is before you do anything with it, you check it's unloaded.
Right. And so in this case, I mean, what we're dealing with here is a really old weapon, not that changes either of the golden rules. When you were talking about involuntary manslaughter, what we're saying is that it's somebody died because usually a high degree of irresponsibility or negligence. Mm-hmm. Like you said initially, he didn't plan on killing anybody that day, and I don't think anybody is suggesting otherwise. The question is, you know, was he going 150 miles down an hour down the highway and just took his hands off the wheels? Is what he did that reckless? Now, from her, the thing that makes her case probably a little bit better, they did find, I think, 6 live rounds of ammunition there. She is the armorer. It is her, you know, Alec Baldwin's got 8 million things to take care of on the movie set. Is the coffee hot? Are the actors in the right place? It's this one person's job, Miss Gutierrez, to make sure that there's no live ammunition. From what I've read, she was hungover that day. She's got drug issues. She's also charged with tampering with evidence. I think that she may have had some cocaine out there and that she tried to hide that from police. So the case against her is pretty decent, or more decent than it is
right
against Alec Baldwin, maybe. But yeah,
right. I mean, if all that turns out to be true, what you just told us, yeah, that is not the person you want as your armorer. My goodness.
No, not really. And from a corporate standpoint, Alec Baldwin's liable, and I think he's already settled for just having hired this girl, this woman, to be the armorer on the set. But is she criminally responsible for the death? I don't know. Well, that's what we're going to learn this week.
Right. You know, look, Alec Baldwin, not my favorite human. But I repeat for what I said at the beginning. He did not set out to kill anybody. This was a horrible, horrible accident. Mm-hmm. And I know plenty of military people. It is not normal for a normal human being to take the life of another human being, even in war. And it has an effect. It leaves a scar. And so I've no doubt this is something he lives with on a daily basis. The only question for me is, was he irresponsible when he pointed that weapon not knowing for sure it was unloaded. I'm also curious as to whether or not he would know what a live round looked like as opposed to a Hollywood round, shall we call it. I don't know that he would know the difference. That's also a very important question, I believe, that needs answering.
One of the things that I think you're going to see in this trial is that, and one of the things that I learned in kind of doing research is that with the Hollywood dummy rounds or blanks, one and the same thing, but apparently you can shake the weapon and the round is the tip of the round should be hollow and should have actually a BB in there that you can hear. So I think Hollywood has actually thought of this before, a quick way to check to make sure that whatever's in that weapon is not live. So I do think that there could have been a way to detect that. Now, whether Alec Baldwin did that or not, I don't know. But I mean, when you're, and I want to say too that there were at least 2 incidents on this movie where a live round had accidentally been fired before. So certainly there was some notice. Which is bad news for both Alec Baldwin and her that live rounds are getting squeezed off in some way here, right?
Absolutely. And also for Hollywood, sadly, this is not the first time Hollywood has pointed a firearm at another human and that person has died in another case. So, yeah, it's sad. Let me ask you this, Jeremy. You're a trial attorney. You've defended all kinds of people. Would you fancy defending either one of these?
Sure. Well, the most important thing, Simon, and the most important question in any case, I hope you have some lawyers that are listening, and anybody who's hiring a lawyer, the most important part of the attorney-client relationship is the fee in getting paid. And that's not just me. That's Abraham Lincoln said that. The most important part of an attorney-client relationship is the lawyer knows that he has a client, and the client knows that he has a lawyer. And who am I to mess with Abe Lincoln? Right?
There you go. Right.
So if Alec Baldwin paid me or she paid me, I would be there in a heartbeat. We would give them all the justice.
I just feel you're somebody that likes to win.
Winning is okay. I hate losing. Winning is okay for about an. I can't. I hate losing.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's just me.
I could kind of tell. So just so you know, the previous 2 legal experts on my show were Matthew Whitaker. He went on to be the acting Attorney General of the United States, and Brenna Bird, who is the current Attorney General of the great state of Iowa. So there you go.
Well, there you go. And probably they wouldn't argue with Abraham Lincoln either.
I'm sure they wouldn't. Jeremy, thank you very much for joining us. It's an interesting case. We look forward to finding how this all plays out. If you want to find out more about Jeremy, you can go to TexasDefenseFirm.com. TexasDefenseFirm.com. Jeremy Rosenthal, thank you very much, my friend.
Thank you, Simon.
Take care.